So today's video will be on something that is one of the most asked questions that I receive all the time, and that is, how do you eat healthy? How do you consistently ensure that you are eating healthy throughout your day, etc.? So I sat down and I thought, you know what is it that I do that helps me to keep a healthy diet and lifestyle? So I came up with 10 very easy, very simple points and tips and things like that, that if implemented into your daily routine and really become a habit, can really effectively change your lifestyle, positively affect your diet. So these tips will probably seem very kind of common sense and very simple, and they are. However, it's not very easy to implement it. It takes conscious effort on your part, my part, because I try to do this all the time. And you know, some days, some weeks are harder than others, and that's okay. The whole point is that you're aware and you're doing your best. So let's begin. There's, like I said, 10 points. And the first one is actually the most important one that I found, that takes away the stress out of, you know, what to eat, and also helps you to stay on top of things. So that is to meal plan for the entire week. So either Sunday or Monday morning, Sunday during the day or Monday morning, sit down and make a meal plan, like a menu for all the days, you know, for all the meals that you're gonna have for that week. And it's very helpful. I can't tell you how helpful it is when I actually do it. I don't do it all the time. I am guilty of that, but I really do try. And those weeks that I do it, it's like so much less stress. When the time comes to think of what to eat, you know exactly what you're making that day, and it's just so simple. So tip number 2 sort of goes along with the first tip, and that is to make a grocery list. So once you have your meal plan and your menu for the week, make a grocery list of exactly what you're going to need. And it just helps you when you're at the grocery store, you know exactly what you're looking for. So one, is going to save you time, and two, it's so much easier when the time comes and you have to make that lunch or that dinner or whatever, you know exactly what you're making. I honestly can't stress this enough, how helpful these 2 tips have been for me since I started implementing them. It's just amazing. I really highly recommend that you do this. Again, it's not easy. It does take some time, but it saves you so much stress during the week, having to think of what to make and having to go buy the ingredients. So definitely these 2 tips are extremely helpful. So tip number 3 is to avoid eating out as much as possible and to make your meals yourself. Again, all of these tips kind of go hand in hand, and you will see like the first 2 tips go hand in hand with this tip right here. And if you know exactly what you're making, that is going to help you to not be tempted to go and take your meals, like take out your meals or go out to eat, because you just don't have the time to think of what to make and go shopping and all these things. So cooking yourself is truly the best way to ensure that you're eating the healthiest meals, because you know exactly what's going into them, as opposed to eating at a restaurant and you have no idea how much salt they're using, how much fat they're putting in, what kind of things are going in there. So avoid eating out and make your own meals as much as possible. Tip number 4, no processed foods. I know it's gonna be hard because it's so much easier to get things that are sort of pre-packaged and ready to go, like frozen foods and things like that. Just try to avoid getting processed food as much as possible and go for real whole foods instead. Tip number 5 is to prep your food ahead of time. And what I mean by that is, the day that you go grocery shopping and you get home with all of your groceries and everything that you've bought. I don't do this all the time. I'm gonna tell you for sure, it's not something I do all the time because I don't always have the time. But if you can make it a habit, and I'm working on that, is to prep your food. So wash everything. Chopping I wouldn't recommend, because once you chop it, the air goes into the foods and it oxidizes it. So I wouldn't recommend chopping things, but definitely just washing them and sort of organizing them in your fridge. It really helps you. Again, when that time comes to make your meals, your ingredients are ready to go. You just take them out and chop them up or whatever, and it's just the best thing you can do. It's so helpful. Tip number 6 is to make sure that you include lots of colorful, beautiful vegetables and fruit into your diet, but vegetables specifically, colorful veggies into every single meal that you eat, especially greens, because greens are very alkalizing to our system. So lots of greens. There's so many options, from spinach, broccoli, kale, green beans. I mean, the list goes on, but make sure to include as much as you can of colorful vegetables and especially greens with every meal. Tip number 7, when you're hungry and it's in between meals, snack on fruits and nuts instead of going for overprocessed sugary treats. It's so much easier, I know, to kind of reach for candy or cake or I don't know, cookies or things like that, but just try to avoid them as much as possible and instead go for nuts or fruits. If you are going to be eating nuts, make sure you pre-soak them. It's very, very important. It really helps to break down the outer layer and allows the body to really absorb all the nutrients that are in the nuts. Tip number 8, and I know this is going to be hard, especially in North America. A lot of people are addicted to, can you guess what it is? Soda! No, soda, I can't even tell you how bad it is. I mean, we're not going to get into that because I can make a whole video just on how bad soda is. So just avoid soda as much as possible. If you're addicted, I mean, I always like to kind of cold turkey quit things, but if it's hard for you, just try to eliminate it, every day, little by little. Just cut it out of your diet and just stay away from soda. Instead, go for water. It's amazing. It's so important to be hydrated from the inside out. So many benefits. I mean, even breathing, for every single organ in our body, it requires water to function. So I can't tell you how important it is to have water. If you don't like, a lot of people are not used to drinking water. If you want to help yourself to kind of flavor the water, there's so many ways you can do that. And again, it all depends on your preference. You can cut up some lemon or lime, add it to your water. You can put some berries, you can put any kind of fruit, you can even put some mint or basil. Really any way you can flavor your water. If it helps you when you start, do that, because it's so important. So no soda and lots of water instead. Tip number 9, which I find is so helpful for me, because some days I'm so busy and I don't make the time to make lunch, and I know it's really bad, but I'll have snacks and I'll have a protein shake and things like that. But what really helps is if you don't have the time to eat lunch, to make lunch, and you don't want to go and get outside food, because again, it's not that healthy unless you find super healthy place. But most of the time, most restaurants are not so healthy. So the tip that I find really helps me is to make extra the night before. When you're making dinner, just make an extra portion and have that as your lunch the next day. It's really, really helpful. It ensures that first you save money, because getting lunch if you're outside can really add up. And again, it ensures that you're eating homemade, healthy meals. And the last tip is just to pace your meals, because we're all so busy and we all kind of rush through our meals. We don't even enjoy them. We tend to just kind of swallow the food instead of chewing it properly. And it's so important to pace yourself and really chew your food, because when you swallow it, you don't feel when you're eating fast. You can't feel when your body is full, and if you really kind of pay attention to your body, you will feel that first impulse that you're starting to get full, and that's when you should stop. Most of the time, if you're eating fast, you don't give the body enough time to kind of digest it and send the signal that you're full. So if you're eating fast, you have more of a chance to overeat. So pacing yourself is a great way to not only eat healthy, because it's better for you, but also to manage your weight, because you're not overeating. So there you have it, guys. Those are my 10 tips on how to eat healthy. Again, they're very simple in theory, but can truly be so effective if they're implemented on a daily basis into your routines and your daily diets and lifestyle. So I really hope you find it helpful. Don't be overwhelmed if all this sounds so overwhelming, because it can be if it's a lot of changes to make to your lifestyle and your diet. So if you can, start with one thing at a time, right? So start with, let's say, point one and just do that for a month, and then slowly incorporate other things, and then over time you will see the changes in how you feel and how your body looks and everything, and you will be more motivated to continue on. So thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe to this channel if you're not yet. Subscribe to my Real Layla channel for fashion, makeup, vlogs type videos, and make sure to follow me on Instagram for daily pictures, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, my loves. So tip number, which one was that? I'm lost. Okay, 4. Tip number 4. Okay. Tip number